All right, hey guys, welcome so much to the Advanced Teespring training. I'm glad to have you here. Today we're going to be talking about a little bit more of the in-depth strategies and the systems for selling a shit ton of t-shirts. Doesn't matter if you're using Teespring or Viral Style or Sunfrog or whatever it may be, this is how we are selling shirts on Facebook and online. Right now, Teespring is my go-to platform, so that's why we're calling it the Advanced Teespring training. So let's just go ahead and dive into what we're going to be talking about here. Now, to get things started, you guys, I'm sure you saw my case study I launched there on Christmas Eve where we had the single design idea, very simple stuff, straight text design that said, niche makes me happy, you not so much. Straight white text on a black hoodie, and that raked in about $35,000 in its first 21 days. And throughout the entire month, we really got up to about $50,000 from that single design that started on December 1st with nothing, no ads, no fan pages, no fans, no lists or anything in those, and just kind of cranked it away. And that's what we're going to be talking about here in this Advanced Teespring training, is how we followed that system to make that happen, how we can make it happen over and over again. Now, first off, there's two different ways to go about selling t-shirts, two types of designs, as I like to call it. And a lot of people stick with the kind of our normal route of selling t-shirts, and that's going with a very niche focused t-shirts. This is a type of design that will only work in one niche, something that really connects with that one niche, but no other niche you could redo this design in. As you can see, this is an example right here. This is a gun rights example. The design is completely focused on gun owners and people who love guns. We couldn't put this in here, this design, and change it to target pigs without really changing design a lot. That's kind of the whole thing with the niche focused designs, is that it'll only impact that one niche, that one group of audience that really loves and connects with this shirt. Now, these shirts are awesome. They're a great way to go about it because they're kind of your hit it out of the park designs. These are the ones you can sell thousands of thousands upon with a single design, single niche. But you're going to be spending a lot of money in your testing phase and your initial phase and stuff like this for a design like this. I like to use these niche specific designs later in my program, later in my system, once I have the demographics down, once I have my targeting down, once I know a niche is going to take off for me, because then I won't waste so much money finding my ideal demographics. And as you're going to see with my rebrandable system, we have a little different route to go about it so that, especially for newcomers or those that are trying to expand into new niches, find the niches that work for them, the rebrandable design route works a little bit better. Before I get into that, let's talk about the step-by-step process of the niche-focused designs. Now, first off, we're just going to launch one design, 1 to 3 really, in a single niche. We're not trying to expand our niches. In this case, we know what niche we're jumping into. We want to be a part of that niche, and for the long run, we don't need to reach out to as many as we can. We want to grow this audience. We want to sell as many t-shirts in this niche as we possibly can, and that's the whole point of the niche focus. So step 1, we know our niche. We're going after it. We want to grow our audience. Now step 2, we want to really find a design that's going to take off. We don't want to waste money on testing designs. We want something that's going to connect heavily with our audience, and that's the whole point of these niche focused designs, is to connect heavily with that audience so that it sells off the shelves. Now, one way to do this, and one way I like to do, is to find 2 to 3 designs that you like for that niche that you think will work well, and simply ask the ideal buyers, the ideal audience, which one they like the most. Now, if you don't have an asset already, if you don't have a fan page or an email list or anything like that, then you're going to have to get this question in front of the right people, and this is how you could possibly do a boosted post. So let's say you're jumping into this niche, you have no fan page, you have no assets, you want to know which design is going to work best. You could simply do a fan page post on your brand new fan page and have the 3 design choices and simply have it a question. Make that an advertising post where you'll target your ideal crowd, the ones you think of, and ask which design they like the most. It's going to give you information to kind of dive into which design is going to sell the most for you in the long run. And this is why this type of design style, this niche-focused design method, I like to have an audience first. I like to do the rebrandable style to find my demographics, grow a little bit of an asset in different niches, and then I can dive into those single niches by following this system. You know, you can easily ask your audience on a fan page post or an email broadcast, which design do you like? Because you actually have an audience to speak to and to show them something. But if you're just starting off in a niche you have no idea about yet, then a boosted post would be the way to go with that. But what we're doing here is we're just getting the information on what they like the most, pretty much just like I do every system out there. Anytime I'm selling anything, I always have a step in the process where I'm asking them, is this what you want? What do you want me to show you? What do you want me to create for you? What do you want me to give you? And that gives me the ideas of what to do next and what to give them to connect with this audience more. When you're getting very niche focused in this type of design style and this launch system, you want to really connect with that audience heavily. And that's the whole point of the niche focused design. So once you get your information, you know which type of design is really cranking for you. We're going to go to step 4, and this is simply launch your shirt. You're going to launch one shirt in that day, and this is your baby. This is the one you want to really rock out with. And instead of doing this typical system like I show you, where we're launching a bunch of designs in a day and we're doing just an initial $25 ad test, instead, we're doing a very extensive advertising testing phase for the design. Because like I said, it's my baby. I know I want to be in this niche. I know this design will sell. Now I want to really make sure I dial in my audience and make sure this thing sells. So we're spending a lot more on our initial ad testing here, where we might be, instead of just a $25 ad test to see if our niche and our design and our targeting is working, we might spend $250 on our initial test, because we have everything kind of separated right at the beginning. We're testing age, we're testing gender, we're testing interest, and we're getting that ideal demographic down where we're already thinking about scaling. This design style system, we already have scaling in mind. We know this shirt's going to take off, and that's the only time we follow through with this system. And that's why, like I was saying before, we like to go with the rebrandable design style. Now this style, we're able to hit a whole bunch of niches at once with a single design concept. Now, just like in the case study I showed you, here is the design style. This is actually someone else who's gone and taken design on their own, hitting penguins. I actually did one of the penguins a few weeks ago without the little graphic, and it sold 0, maybe 1 over my initial test. Now, this guy right here has sold like 75, I saw on their ad over the past few days. So you can see even the niches I haven't had success with, other people are. But anyways, with the rebrandable designs, what's happening is you have this one simple design that you can redo in any niche out there. As you can see, we can simply change that word, penguins, and make it target anything you possibly want out there to launch 10, 20, 30 designs in a single day. And what this does, and why it's so good for kind of the newbies and those that are trying to expand their niches, is that we're really doing a lot of reach. We're not just focused on our single niche, trying to make that sell, doing everything we possibly can to make that sell. We're trying to just find 1 or 2 out of our 10 each day that are going to kind of trickle in with the rebrandable design. And now those 1 or 2 that trickle each day, you're going to have 1 or 2 a week that take off. And this adds up very quickly with not only making sales and making you money, but every one of these ads, every one of these campaigns are bringing in assets, bringing in an audience to grow for your email and your fan page and your e-commerce stores and all that other stuff out there that we're going to use for the niche focus style launch later on. So the rebrandable design style is just one of my favorites because we get that huge amount of reach. I'm trying to grow an empire here where I have my focus niches. I'm very heavy in the fitness niche. I'm very heavy in the make money niche and all that. That's my focused brand niches with my business. But when it comes to selling t-shirts, I know that shirts can sell across all of these social niches, these passionate niches, and different stuff like that. So that's what I want to do, is I want to reach out as much as I possibly can, hit as many new niches as I possibly can, and once I have one or two of these rebrandable designs really take off, we follow the niche focus system. So if I had 2 or 3 good penguin shirts go off, that means I probably have a fan page of a few thousand by that point. I have an email list of maybe a few hundred because we've been doing daily posts to get people on our newsletter. And we have those 2 assets to launch our niche focus campaign to get that initial question out there. Which design do you like the best? Give them 2 or 3 options, and we launch that already knowing our ideal demographics because of this our initial rebrandable launch. So let's talk about the steps that are happening here and just kind of little differences with this system. Now, first off, step 1. Instead of with the niche focus, we know we have one niche. We have to find that niche. We're going to choose it. Now, with this, we need a master niche list. We need pretty much every niche that would work out there that would fit on a t-shirt. So for this design, we want to have a master list of any niches that would fit there. Now, this is my master list pretty much. I'm adding to it all the time. And I would open all these up for you, but honestly, it slows my computer down so much, I don't want to click them all open. But these are our main groups. What I've done is I've separated all the different possible niches out there into pretty much industry categories. And that's what each of these main little branches mean. Jobs, sports, hobbies, animals, majors, causes. Each of these can be broken down into separate niches. Jobs, obviously. As you can see, it's a little slow. And here are our jobs. So these are a list of our jobs that we can target. And these aren't even all of them out there. There's plenty more out there. As we go through, I have my project lead come in and add. But every single one of these has a little list like this. Or maybe it's even broken down a little bit more. Vehicles here has cars, motorcycles, boats, planes. And you can see there's different types of cars. Luxury vehicles, off-roading muscle cars. And each of these are broken down into the singular niches. Now what this does is it creates a gigantic master list of niches that you can target with your rebrandable designs. So now with all those jobs you just saw, if I have one shirt take off with the rebrandable design, I rinse and repeat that design in every single one of the niches we have listed, as long as it makes sense. Sometimes the industries won't make sense with the rebrandable design. In this case, it very much does. You know, electricians make me happy, you not so much. Coal makes me happy, you not so much. You know, those are different ways to attack the rebrandable side of that with the jobs. So the key here, and this is what I tell all my students, first thing, create a master list. And there's so many niches out there. Literally all I've done, we'll go to jobs, I'll go to Google and I'll say list of jobs. And it'll have a list of the top 500 jobs, and I go down the list of whichever ones I like and think are a good job to target for a shirt, and we'll add it to the list. Sports, you know, we've got high school sports, we've got professional sports. Hobbies are just things people like. Animals, broken down into household animals, which would be like dog breeds and cats. You got farm animals like pigs, obscure animals like ferrets, chinchillas, you know, stuff like that. Majors, that's fields of study like, you know, history or biology. You can have ethnicity, origin, all different types of stuff out there. You can even target single items. You know, I've had shirts take off before that said something about my Glock or my AR-15, and those are just types of guns, and we've just targeted those single types of guns. Instead of doing a whole gun rights shirt, we'd break it down into individual gun models, and that's worked very well. So as you can see, the master niche list here is very important for the rebrandable side of this, because you can just kind of expand out once you have your one design. So step 2, find your rebrandable design that fit multiple niches. I literally just Google search for these. Go through niches, look for funny designs in each niche, look for concepts, look for sayings on Facebook. It doesn't matter. The more you do this design search and stuff like that, the more you're going to see them just kind of popping up all over the place. Oh, all right, there you go. So be aware, look around, see what's going on out there, and once you have that one rebrandable design, like this one, blank makes me happy, you not so much, then you just mass produce them. When I found out that this design works, the next day I got an order into our graphic designer, and I knew that I didn't want to wait any time, because once you find one of these rebrandable designs, you want to kind of hop on quick, because you're going to be competing against guys like me who I'm going to throw out 500 of them in a day if I can, and everyone else is doing this exact at the same time. There's a good solid 20 to 30 people who have this down, and if a rebrandable design, you find one, you have a good one, you want to really kind of roll with it as quick as possible so you get ahead of the crowd. Just so that you're not too saturated by the time you launch. And this is why it's kind of, you see a lot of people, and I teach students all the time, when you're looking out there, you're looking at Facebook ads and design ideas, don't be afraid to use another guy's design, but vary it up yourself, make it your own, don't hit the same niche, go after obscure niches, but the real money comes for when you're the one to find these little rebrandable designs. This little happy if you're the first one to put up this happy concept design, you're going to get a good 2 to 3 weeks of solid payouts before the crowd starts picking it up. So this is why you kind of want to always be on the search for new designs, especially these rebrandables, because there's an unlimited amount of these type of just phrase quotes that will work. There's millions of them that'll kill. T-shirts with that, they just kill. And even the simpler you go, almost, the better it was. I was so surprised at how simple our design was and how well it did, because it had no graphics. It was white text. I made in Photoshop. Penguins make me happy, you not so much. It was really crazy. All right, so when you have this rebrandable design, you're going to then branch it into each industry branch. So in this case, penguins, this would be animals. That would be the industry branch we could start with. So I just go down the list of my master niche list in the animals section, and we would just reproduce that design over and over again to where we're launching at least 10 of these a day. Now, instead of where we're the niche focus, you're launching one a day, and you're really kind of putting all your eggs in that basket. But with that style, you already know your demographics. You already know that this shirt's going to be a winner, and you're going to make it work. Instead of where the rebrandable designs, we're reaching out into new niches. We're testing new interest groups to target. It's kind of a numbers game where we're launching 10, we'll get 1 to 2 to 3 a day, will kind of work, and then we go on to the next step with that on day 2 and continue that process over and over again. And this kind of, like I said, with the numbers game, you have, this way you won't have to continue to rinse and repeat researching interest for the same niche. If we, for example, did a niche focused design like this and our initial interest test, our initial PPE ad didn't work, we'd have to do some more extensive research into interest and target a different group. Whereas this one, we have 10 different pocket groups of interest around 10 different niches we're throwing out there on day 1, and then we can just turn off the ones that don't work and not have to worry about kind of tweaking the little ads that go. Instead of worrying about tweaking the ads, each individual campaign with the rebrandable design, I just wait for the next rebrandable design. So let's say I ran this penguins one, and on day 2, it's not making any money, but we have 10 others in the happy designs going. Well, I turn off the penguins one, and on the next day, I'll launch a penguin shirt with a totally different design, maybe a different rebrandable design idea at that point. And then we continue that system till they take off in the niche. And this is, so far, has produced, every month we add a good 4 to 5 new niches to our system that we can start doing the niche focused designs for, and that's really where our long-term payouts and our asset building comes from. All right, so step 4. This is just the initial $25 an ad PPE ad test. You run with the winners, you turn off the losers. Step 5, same as always. Scale the winners as massively as you can. So, like I said, from these rebrandable designs, you're reaching out into new niches, you're finding the demographics, the ideal target, and then you can follow through in the long-term plan of this by taking those niches that are working well for you and doing those niche-focused design ideas. And this is kind of in the end, you're doing both of these different systems woven together. And this is why you should be building lists, this is why you should be building fan pages, and doing all the typical internet asset stuff. Even though we're just selling t-shirts, consider it a t-shirt company instead of you're just a Teespring affiliate, So, that right there is pretty much how you can come up with never-ending design ideas Because just with the master list alone, you're going to have, I mean, there's, I think, like 450 niches really listed out in here so far. So with this one design, that's 450 designs ready to go, concepts you can rock out right now. So, rebrand design concept, way to go. It's my favorite style. All right. Let's find out. I'll answer a few questions. If you've got any questions about that right now, feel free to ask them. I'll go through a few of these questions. All right, how do you find ideas for quote designs to test out? Just Google search, as I've shown on my YouTube videos plenty of times. Just same thing. It's constant research. Constant research. You should be researching. The research step of this is always the longest. If you're researching design ideas and you're researching interest, that should take about 5 to 6 times as long as uploading the campaigns and maintaining them, really, in a given month. Because that's where the money is, the design ideas. So Google search, Teespring, TView, Photograph.com. That's another research. Teescover.com. You know, there's all types of different research sites to see what's working. All right, can you show us the ad for the penguins? No, that's going to be later. We're getting there. All right, good on questions. Let's move on to the next section here. We want to talk about shirt strategies that sell. Now we're selling on Teespring in this case. And really when it comes to t-shirts, we're going to be using the same type of concepts. This is just how we can use them with Teespring. Now first off, one thing you want to do, and this is with any sales concept, anything at all, any type of power manipulation, and if you're selling something, we're just manipulating the situation. And don't take the word manipulation as a negative so much, but we are changing how people perceive what's going on. Even if they want the shirt or the product we're selling, we're trying to manipulate the situation and so they want it more. So what we want to do is we want to create a situation of us versus them. And that's exactly what's working here on the t-shirts, is that you're creating a group of people and an enemy. And it's not so, not war-based and all that heavy-duty stuff, but it's just that group of people that people are close to, that people that care for, they love more than others, and they connect more than others. Everyone is always an us versus them. Everything out there is us versus them. It's the whole way the world works, and that's what you want to create between with your buyers. So some us versus them relationships. First off, we have family relationships. Parents, grandparents, children, married couples. Parents, obviously, you can do mom and dad. We sell a lot of mom shirts, and if a mom shirt sells, we sell a lot of dad shirts. Very simple stuff. Cool thing about these relationships is that they work both ways. Like it says here, not only will they sell as a standalone mom shirt if you're a swim mom, but more likely that swimmer also has a dad or a grandpa or a grandma or even a son, daughter, wife, husband, and you can cross-sell and upsell and really maximize your profits from what you're doing. Grandparents, grandpa, grandma, children, son, daughter, married couples, wife, husband. Those are really great t-shirt relationships because it creates that us versus them. Us is our family, them is everyone else. If I'm a mom, it's an us of the mom in my family. The them is those that don't have a swim daughter or a swim son or whatever, So you're creating that us versus them. Now it's very easy with family relationships. Another good one is going to be with camaraderie niches. So this can be things like your employment with the jobs. One of my first marketing clients when I was using this system years ago, he was involved in the nursing niche, nurses, and that really kind of showed me the power of camaraderie because nurses are extremely close-knit group of people when they work together. For one, they work really long hours and usually overnight, crappy hours where they're going through the same crappy situation together. So that really creates that us feeling. They are put down and looked down upon by their superiors as doctors. A lot of doctors are dicks, and nurses always have problems with doctors and situations like that. So that's the them, another us versus them situation. Little things you connect with and reach out and really hit with them. So when I was working with this client, I really saw that camaraderie that nurses had, And I saw that when I sell something to one nurse, she has hundreds of friends who are nurses as well. So that's very powerful in this social media concept, especially with t-shirts. You know, one nurse likes something, all her friends are going to probably like it too. Other camaraderie situations, other niches like this would be fields of study, like I said. You're in college, you're at the same classes, you're at the same workshops, you're trying to go for the same jobs, you know, that type of stuff. A little bit camaraderie. Then you also got ethnicity and origin. Where are they from? You see a lot of shirts of, it'll say like, you know, this girl lives in Texas, but she's a California girl forever. Her origin is California, so she has that us versus them feeling. She's living in the middle of them, in the middle of Texas, but she's still a California girl. So it's that us versus them little feeling. And then we also have passions, which is just like our passion niches of not so us versus them feeling, but it's like a dog breed. You know, everyone who loves pugs, you have that little bit of connection compared to those who have labs or bulldogs. It's a little different when you meet someone with pugs. So let's go ahead and we'll just kind of jump into the ad here, targeting wise, and just kind of I'll show you how we can target a few of these different relationships when you're doing your ads. Now, first off, we have mom and dad. Here we are in the advertising section, the demographics area, custom audience, location, obviously, age, gender, boom, boom. Now, for mom and dad, you can go into more demographics here, and they have a parent section. Now, if you're just targeting moms, they have special different areas for moms, and these are all just kind of types of moms. It'll have different tendencies they have when they shop or what they buy and things like that. Now, if I'm trying to hit a mother and target a mother, I won't use that bottom mom section. I'll go to all parents, and now they give you different age groups, and I'll just go parents all. Now, if I wanted mothers, it would be women. So that right there would be targeting mothers in whatever niche I'm at. I'd add the interest. Surfing. So these are mothers age 18 to 65 plus who like the niche interest surfing. So that's how we would do mothers. Fathers would be just men. Very simple stuff. You can dive in even farther with the moms and stuff. I try not to get too extremely deep when it comes to these demographics. Next off, we got grandparents. So for grandparents, you could go with parents all and then do a little age demographic higher. That's one way to go about it. Or you could go through home. I think it's household composition. And they have a grandparents section here. This is another way to target grandparents with your interest. 250 to 240,000 grandparents who like surfing. That's one easy way to do it. Son and daughter. I think I typically just go a lower age group on this section. So if it's a daughter, I would do women 18 to like 35 or 40. I don't think we have any demographics for a daughter. But yeah, that's about it for daughters, and that'll connect with the moms and the fathers too and all the family members. That's what's cool about the t-shirt sales. If you can connect with different things that sell across the family or across the camaraderie group, the us versus them group, you can really boost sales. And we saw this happen really exponentially when there was name campaigns going out, when those were working earlier in the year, and we'd create a shirt and we target the last name of a certain family, and grandmothers would buy like 50 of them at a time for family reunions. And this was just a great connection to the family connection. You get that family vibe going. You can usually get a mom and dad sold on the same type of shirt. All right, married couples, husband or wives. We would go relationship status, married. You have different life events, things like that. I mean, widowed, divorced, separated. Those are all different type of niches as well. A widowed woman or man, that's a niche of a t-shirt. Divorced people, that's a niche. All these different demographics really kind of break it down into niches. I mean, here's fields of study you can target by education. Fields of study. We'll put in biology. You have your different fields of study. So if you're doing a married This is wives of a biologist or married biologist women. That's kind of just how you can target down your audience a little bit better. Ethnicity, you can do location, and then of course you got interest and things like that you can use to target as well. I'm sure there's plenty of history. I love history. I love history. So if you're targeting history, field of study, and interest, it'll dial it down even more. Alright, so that's how we go about targeting those different us versus them relationships. Works really well. Next strategy you really want to use, buyer's list. Create freaking buyer's list. And I know Teespring doesn't allow us to have our own buyer's list from our sales, but they do have a buyer messaging system, as you can see here, and I use mine every single day. Every time I launch a new shirt, I will send out an email through the buyer system, and you can create a custom audience of all the people who have bought shirts from you in a certain designs. So let's say this might be a pig shirt or something I just launched, and I'll send out this same type of message that says, hey, just want to send you a quick email to let you know we just launched a new pig shirt. You can check out this design here. And as you can see with the Teespring URL here, I am tracking E = T, which is just kind of let me know that this came from the email, Teespring email. So you know where the sales are coming from. But the buyer system is very important just because it can boost sales. Every single one of these emails sell shirts, and the more shirts you sell, the bigger amount of shirts that these emails can sell for you. Just like building your own list, except Teespring has control of this one, so don't get like your account banned or something like that. And there's lots of other ways to grow buyers lists without this too. I mean, like I said, you can run list building campaigns to your fan page. You can post on your fan page, you get people to your newsletter, and you can sell through things like Shopify or product pages or straight with PayPal just to collect that email yourself and then go drop ship these type of shirts. That's a little extra type of work I wouldn't recommend, or it's not really necessary. But buyers lists are the way to go. You need them. Next up, we have promo codes. Promo codes are very, very powerful. This is just discount coupons pretty much. And in our Happy Design, we use this campaign right here, free shipping for a lot of them. You can see we redeemed 1,592 of them over the past few weeks. And that's a discount code, just give that extra conversion rate. Any type of deal or promotion or bit off, price down, markdown, that really helps a buyer, kind of give them another reason to purchase. Now with this one, we had free shipping, which is we just add this on the end of our URL. They would get free shipping, which is about $4 off the price, which comes out of our profit. But for the month of December here, Teespring was offering $3 more on every Gildan hoodie sold. So we only did the free shipping offer on our Gildan hoodie promotion. So it pretty much evened out where we were only losing $1 for the higher conversion rates, which ended up really maximizing our profits. Now, free shipping is only one way you can go about it. You could do something like a $5 off discount code. And I've shown you guys list building funnels on how we use that to really grow our list and sell a lot of t-shirts. You can find that in the ROI group. Last day coupons, if you've been running a shirt at $25 whole campaign, there's 5 hours left on the campaign, you could do a $5 off for the last 5 hours. That's just another conversion. And then previous buyer coupons. So if you're using the email system here, the buyer's list, you could send them a link with an extra $3 to $4 off and say that in an email. Since you bought our last shirt, you're going to love this one too, and we like to treat our customers great, so here's an extra $5 off. That's just a kind of a simple example of how you could go about that. All right, let me see here. And then last off, we have last day campaigns. And this is just kind of, you want to hit the last day. It's a little different on the last day because it's their last chance to grab the shirt. So you want to let them know that. You want to let them know it's only a few hours left. Go buy this now. Definitely always use shirt or last day ad campaigns for all your shirts. Just it works. It works really well. And with the combination of our custom audiences and our retargeting audiences and all that, like I talked about in the advanced Facebook strategies webinar, you can find the ROI group. You can really maximize all this because we'll be using all those different pieces together. All right, so some questions that we're getting here after this section. When targeting broad audience like moms, dads, do you have any reach limit, or you start at all that you get, even if it's more than $2 mil? Wouldn't a $25 test be too small? I don't ever go past 1 mil reach with any single ad. You can find that data and all those metrics in the advanced Facebook training webinar I held earlier in the month. You can find that in the ROI group. That will go over all your different basic metrics you want to follow. I'm not going to talk about that stuff in here because it's just this is a little bit more advanced. All right, how can we use a discount code with a sub ID? You'd want to use an AND statement. So let me show you guys. You can have multiple variables with Teespring. Teespring uses the tracking syntax variable 1 equals variable 2 to track their stuff. So if we want to have two different tracking codes like that, we'd go teespring.com/ABC to start it. We'll do our promotion code first, PR equals code 1, and then you do an ampersand symbol or whatever those are called, the and symbol. And then we do the next variable, so I equals 1. And this way that will track both the promotion code and the I1 test. And you can do it as many times as you want. I equals 2, you know. All right. How do you get that Teespring discounts option? Is that on all Teespring accounts? Yes, that's available everywhere. It's in the I think it's like promotion code area or promotion tab. You can create as many codes as you want. All right, so let's move on to the next section. All right, so now we're going to talk about advertising the 30,000 plus campaign, because that's kind of a freaking chore when it comes down to it. In all honesty, that was kind of, especially with the rebrand design, we're going to have so many t-shirts going off at once. It becomes very complicated, and you just got to keep track of everything that's going on. It's simple steps that I show you in selling one shirt, but it's just rinse and repeat it about 1,000 times, and that's what you really want to keep organized and keep track, and really just takes an effective Excel worksheet. So, first off, it's important that you understand it's going to cost money to make 30 grand. I mean, you can't spend $500 and make 10 grand. It just does not happen that way. All these people that post little results of having gigantic results, it usually evens out over the month. You know, you're going to have, I've had it where you pretty much double to triple your money every month if you keep the system going consistently, but that's about as best you can do, which is obviously awesome. We love that. No other business model out there can have us do that. But you want to understand that it's going to cost money, and if you plan to make $50,000 this month, you should know that you should have $25,000 available, and that's just for advertising. It might not cost $25; it might only cost you $10 if you have a good month. But you have to be available and ready to spend the money on the ads, or else you're going to have little lull periods, and you're going to have to wait on payouts and all that kind of crap, which sucks because you have a design taking off, blowing up. Let's say this happy design, you have 10 of them take off today, and you want to start scaling all 10 tomorrow, but all of a sudden you realize that's, $5,000 a day in ad spend when you only have $5,000 for the month. So you have to really kind of plan ahead on these shirts that go well, and just get yourself to the point where you're budgeting a month or two ahead. So like I said, try and at least have half of what you expect to make for the month in your budget as you get this budgeted out and forecasted. We're really working week to week mostly because, like I said, you'll have a shirt take off. You don't know when a shirt's going to take off, so if it might not take off this week, but next week we have one take off, so we need money next week. So it's a week to week process, but be planned a month ahead, a little bit ahead. All right, so think about it one campaign at a time. We do a 7-a-day campaign to start. So like I said, it's a week-to-week process. So if I'm starting a month and I don't have and I want to make $50,000 for the month, and I don't have $25,000 available for budget, then I'll just plan that first week. Okay, for the first 7 to 10 day period, I need $5,000 available for our ad campaigns, and then as they end, we can get our payouts and kind of plan from there. But trying to always be ahead. And then payouts. That's when you have a lot of money going out, you want to plan your payouts effectively. We have PayPal and we have bank checks. PayPal comes quicker. You can usually get it the next business day in your PayPal account. The issue here is it's going to take percentages. PayPal takes like 2.8% out, and when you're getting a $10,000, $20,000 check, that's quite a big chunk of change. And then when you start getting $10,000, $20,000 payments from Teespring, PayPal's also going to limit your account. They take 10% of everything I make in PayPal, and they don't take it for themselves. They just put it into a reserve that I'll get 6 months later. And that's just little safety precautions that PayPal does whenever you start making big money, which is understandable. But that's an extra 10% I do not get for 6 months until that's released, and I can't budget that. I can't plan for that. So my preferred route is bank check. It's slower, it takes about 2 weeks to get to you, but you get all the money, and you skip that whole process. Now, once you have a campaign really rocking, you don't have enough money to maybe fund next week, PayPal might be your way to go, obviously, because you need it now. But try and get to the point where you're a month ahead. Because if you're a month ahead, then you can just do your bank checks. You can wait your 2 weeks to get your $10,000, $20,000 check, but you still have money in the accounts to keep your investments rolling. All right, so here's some campaigns you'll want to expect are happening on a daily basis when we're running ads, especially a rebrandable design. These are things that are going to be happening every day. First off, Monday through Friday, we're launching new shirts every day, 5 to 10, typically 10 plus a day, and every one of these are going to have a $25 ad test that are spent that day at very least. So that's $250 a day in just phase 1 testing for all our new rebrandable designs. That's just testing phase. Most of those will not make money back. Most of that will be a loss every day. So it brings us into the ones that do work though, and we have a profit after the first $25. We go to day 2 and 3, we bump that PPE ad, and that is the next phase 1 step. Now we get about 2 or 3 of our everyday launches make it to this 1.2 phase, and we have to bump up our ad budget there. So we're spending $100 to $150 a day on those 1.2 ads. Next off, we have the shirts that make it past phase 1, and they get to phase 2, where we're testing demographics, age, gender, all that good stuff. And we've separated the ads a little bit more. We're spending a little bit more overall in a campaign, per campaign, and we have $10 to $20 per individual ad. So this is another $100 to $250 a day, depending on how well your launches are going. And then we've got the shirts that actually are going to work for you, the ones that need to be scaled, the ones that are going to take off, and that you want to make $10,000 from in a single campaign. So those are going to be costing a couple $100 a day alone, just because they're making you money. They're the ones that you want to be spending the money on. But to get to that point, you're going to have all these other 3 testing and phases going on every single day. So when I'm spending $1,000 a day on my Facebook ads, I know I'm making shit tons of money. And that's we always try and get there. $1,000 a day is where we want our kind of average on our ad spend, because if we're spending $1,000 a day, we're not spending it to lose it. It's at a certain point you don't want to lose too much. So we turn them all off. So if we're up to the $1,000 a day point, that means we have some campaigns being scaled. We have some that are making it past phase 1 and phase 2, and we have new shirts launching every day. So those are different phases you want to keep in mind once you got it rolling. All right, so let's run through a ad campaign of this rebrand design, just kind of how we went through our ads. First off, we have phase 1. Where we found the design concept. Now, day 1, we launched 10 designs a day. Or phase 1, 10 designs a day to see which ones take off with the rebrandable, see how many we can get rocking. These are PPE ads. Very simple stuff, just a fan page post. Like I said, we're testing our rebrandable design across our 5 to 10 niches every day with this phase. If you prove it to work, then we just mass produce it in as many different niches as possible. Here's my day one with the happy design. These are the niches we started off with on day one. And you can see a lot of them did really well. We went $25 on each one of them and moved in. Well, here's an example ad for you, I guess, is what our PP ad looked like. You can see the free shipping we used. $25 a day ad test. If it works and we make money or break even, then we bump up on day 2 to $50 a day on the ad, and that is phase 1 to figure out if we have winners or not. Phase 1, easy stuff. This happened every day, remember. This many campaigns are being started every day with this design. That's if you're not doing that, you're not going to be able to produce the numbers you want. You're not going to have those 3 stages or those 4 stages we talked about to be spending $1,000 a day to be making 2 to 3. All right, once we have our winners, we know which ones are working. We move into phase 2, and we're going to find our ideal demographics. We're using website conversions or click-to-website ads here. We really only take a design to this stage, this phase, if it's producing 300% ROI or more. If it's doing less, we'll keep it in phase 1. We'll just keep it at a $50 a day ad budget, PP ad, or maybe we'll even turn it off and just move on to the next design in that niche. But for ones that are doing really well, we start separating by gender and demographics and age and all that stuff, as you can see here. We split this one into 4 male and 4 female age groups to test them out. As you can see, our winner was definitely the women, 45 to 54. So that's what we ran the most out of this. You can see the daily budget, so that was bumped up. Anything that works, we bump up. Anything that doesn't, we turn down and shut off. Now we want to test this very slowly. We start at $10 to $15 a day budget. Probably going to get shown per individual one $5 to $10 a day. So you're going to let it run 2 or 3 days. And even if the ad isn't converting, I like to have at least $25 be spent on each individual ad to really get the true numbers, see if it works. Now with the ad, make sure it's different. You don't want your ads all to say the same thing across the PP ad, across the testing phase, across the last day ad and the scaling. All these are different things happening, so we want different things to be said. This one in the testing phase, you can see we are pushing the want this before Christmas. Order before the 10th and you receive your hoodie before Christmas with the free shipping. So that's what we were really pushing in this ad. Now make sure you have your custom audience and your conversion pixels all set up here, because this is when you want to be tracking everything. Don't just rely on Facebook tracking and conversion pixels. You want to have as much tracking data as possible so you can keep it, as organized. What's actually selling. With Teespring, with our variables, you can easily go into the analytics of Teespring and look at what's selling. Compare that with your Facebook conversion pixels to really get your data. If you're not using Teespring, you can use something like Improvly or any of the other tracking link systems to really kind of figure out what is selling. Now, once you have your demographics dialed in, you know which age groups buy, you know which genders buy, then you want to edit that original PPE ad and make it fit those ideal demographics. And every time you do an ad test through phase 2 and phase 3, you can change that initial PPE ad to fit those ideal demographics. All right, so phase 2, we're going through on and off the good ones, simple stuff. Phase 3, this is a campaign that's really taking off. This is when you want to scale like crazy, and we want to scale into individual interests to start. This is an example of that. We had 9 interest groups for this certain design. $10 start. We bump up, bump down the ones that work and don't work. Now we want to have at least an individual reach per ad at 2,500 people. So if you do an individual interest ad and you use one interest, and you're targeting females 35 to 54 who are married, and it only says you have a reach of less than 1,000 people, I'll continue adding interest out of my group until it reaches at least 2,500 people. That's about my minimum interest I'll reach on those individuals. Now we set it at $10 to $15 a day ad spend. We'll only bump winners to a maximum of $50 a day ad spend. If we reach $50 a day on an individual scaling ad, then we'll start to branch that out a little bit more, where we separate it into location-based, or even branch out into individual ages again, just to maximize our reach. Once again, we want to wait till $25 ad spend on each one of them, turn it off or bump it up, adjust the PPE ad. Once again, different wording, change what you're doing. This is more of let's get them to buy. We're on the scaling process. We know they like this shirt at this point. We know they want to buy, whereas phase 2, we don't know they like it. We're trying to find out who does like it. Here we know they want to buy, so you give them more of a call to action to buy. Now you're going to have retargeting ads you want to have going on at this point in this phase 3. Retargeting just comes from creating that custom audience that uses the Teespring URL. Once again, I talk about that in the Advanced Facebook Strategies webinar in the group. Always be retargeting. It's going to be your best ROI campaigns every single time, guaranteed. Now, I usually go, the campaign lengths that we're doing is 7 to 10 days for a starting shirt. So the first 7 to 10 days are phase 1 and phase 2. I don't even start scaling and making money off the big shirts until round 2 of the shirt, till the first 10 days are over. I don't care what it says 1 day left on a campaign. That means nothing as far as how long I can sell it, because I'm in control of it. It's my product. So I can relaunch on Teespring. I can put it on product pages. I can sell it on Shopify. I can do whatever I want. I can put up a PayPal page and sell it. So it doesn't really matter how long your campaign is. It really takes a month to, test and scale a really effective campaign. So that's what we're doing in the first 2 phases. That's the first campaign, figuring out what happens. We have a winner. Phase 3 starts fresh on the scaling process. Now when you're scaling, like I said, you go into interests that are working related to the niche. You can branch out to new interests once you have this really working. Look for interests that are maybe related to your niche but not really highly focused towards it. This way you can branch out, hit more reach, things like that. Different industries that are related can cross-relate to each other. And then you can do things like break it down into location-based ads. If you have, like I said, if you're targeting individual interests, you have your ideal age group, you can target that, and you still have a huge amount of reach on that ad. You can break that down into individual locations that target that group of people. Also here we can start adding lookalike audiences and the custom audiences and all that good stuff. All right, so any questions on advertising this campaign? Next we'll get on to the outsourcing section. How many at once? How many what? See, Patrick knows. Phase 1 ad. Do you still push the phase 1 ad when you get to the stage 2 or stop the PPE? I typically keep the phase 1 ad going the entire time through. We might change it up after like 10 days or something. We might not have ads running through the whole time, on and off. If it's making money, I keep it on. It's pretty much my rules with that. It keeps it, make money, no reason to turn it off. All right, do you start test ads only on U.S. audience or any worldwide campaigns? This is a later phase. I am U.S. audience only. I never go worldwide unless it's a shirt focused on that part of the world. Definitely a lot of room to be marketing to other countries. I know Fabrily is one that's located, it's like a Teespring system that's located in Europe, I think, who has pretty good prices on international shipping and all that type of stuff. So don't be afraid to target outside the U.S. I just stick with my U.S. brands. All right, outsourcing the system. All right, first off, very simple system to outsource. Really just a 3-person team is needed, and it's mostly to just break the single duties down so that you can get the guys cranking on their specialty. Now the team members we need a project lead. This is kind of your project manager, the guy who's in charge of it all, making sure it's running, making sure that we're producing results. This is the guy kind of taking your spot as far as the strategist goes and things like that. These are the ones thinking about what's happening, what designs are coming out, making sure the designs are in, making sure the advertisements are going, all that good stuff. Now, project lead costs anywhere from $12 to $25 an hour. Excuse me. $12 to $25 an hour, and really $25 an hour is just a really high-end point because I'm having my guys do a lot more than just T-shirts and Teespring, so I pay them a little bit better because we're doing a lot of, it's industry and empire large stuff, so we're hitting a whole different type of realm. But my project lead starts at $12 an hour for T-shirts, and as they get more responsibilities and improve on my system, then we bump them up. But $12 an hour, where my project lead started. Graphic designer, we spend $20 to $30 to design. Try and do anything, or try not to go any higher than that if you can. A lot of these rebrandable designs, what you can do is you can have the initial design created for the original price, and then you can have like a deal, whereas every niche that you do that rebrandable design in will be only $5 to $10 or something like that, because all they'll have to do is change one word for most of these. So for the happy design, we could spend $20 for the initial design and then $5 for every one after that. Now I didn't even have to do that with the happy design because it literally took me an hour to create 100 to 200 designs of that myself with Photoshop, because all I had to do was type each one of them. Next off, ad manager. We're looking at $12 to $25 an hour here as well. This is the person who's going to be handling your advertising, the one who's going to be uploading your ads, doing your interest research, all that good stuff. With these three pieces, you can really run the entire business very effectively without you at all. So let's talk about the tools that we use to stay organized. First off, we have Google Drive. This is just kind of a folder sharing system. Keeps everything in order. We use the Google Calendar as well, as you can see. Just keeps us on track with what launches are happening. This was last month when we started the Happy design. This is when we started right here. Boom, boom. This is our days. You can scroll down. There's lots more. So with the Google Drive, we have folders to keep track of what designs need to be created, what designs have been created, what designs need to be uploaded, all our concepts, and all that good stuff. Pretty much every file you need, you can keep in the Google Drive for your whole team. Next off, we have Asana, and this is just a project management tool, project management system. You can create tasks, have other members of your team see these tasks, and then you can watch and track if it's being done, when it's being done, all that type of stuff. Cool little system. Definitely suggest you check out Asana.com, and I'll talk a little bit more down the process. Next off, we have a graphic editing program. You can use Photoshop, you can use GIMP. GIMP's a free one, and I suggest having that just in case you need to make some small edits on graphics, or if you come up with a design like I did with the Happy one, and you can just pump them out yourself. If I had that all outsourced, that would have been $1,000 in designs of what we were doing there, and it took me instead of an hour or two to create them all myself. So with a free GIMP or a Photoshop graphic editor, you can make those quick fixes. All right, so let's talk about the process here. Process one, step one, finding design concepts. This is an everyday thing, very important, and it's a project lead's responsibility. Like I said, it's just simple Google research, going through every niche, looking at good sayings, looking for things that'll work, being aware in your surroundings, and writing these design concepts down every day. Every day at the end of the day, I have my project lead spend 30 to 60 minutes doing this research, and they add the design concepts into our Google Drive folder for the monthly design. So this doesn't mean that we're launching any designs you research next week, but it's giving us ideas and a direction to go for the next couple weeks ahead and the month ahead of us. Now, important things for the project lead to be aware of is obviously they need to know what campaigns are running right now, what campaigns are doing well, which ones are failing, which ones have we relaunched. Are there any niche plans with our business that we're trying to really maximize. You know, if we're really trying to hit the fitness niche this month with a certain product that's outside of t-shirts, we might have might skip the fitness t-shirts this week so that we can advertise what we have going on over there. And these are all different things that you want your project lead to be aware of, things that you'd be aware of if you're running and managing the system. And once you have a bunch of shirts rocking, you know, you're gonna want to keep it organized, that Google Calendar, want to keep designs coming on a consistent basis so you're launching every day, all that good stuff. Now the goal is to be a couple weeks ahead. We don't want to be planning launches just today for next week, just because the more ahead you are, the easier it's going to be for you. Now it will change up week to week every week. If you plan designs for 3 weeks ahead, when 3 weeks comes, you're going to launch the designs, and you're not going to have all of them are going to work. All of them aren't going to work. They're going to fail. You're going to get 20-30% of them maybe that will work. Now that 70% that didn't work, you have a whole bunch of niches that are now open and available for designs to be launched the week after. So these are things your project leads needs to be up on. He needs to know what's going on, and they need to be able to fit in designs for the week after, on the run type of system. And that's just like I said, being organized and knowing what you're doing right now so that you're not crossing up, doubling up on launches and, oversaturating your readers. Now we have when they have design concepts, we place them into the Google Drive. And like I said, we have a master month list. So all the designs that we might want to launch in the next month will be in this file. But we have a set number of designs we want to launch the week after. So we go to the master month list. We see what concepts are out there. We see what niches from our Google Calendar are open for the next week, and then that's how we create our week-to-week launch system. All right. So like I said, when you have a failed campaign, you're going to want to, especially if it's a niche that you've had a lot of success with and it's done well, but the design doesn't work, you want to have a new design in that niche ASAP, just so you can have that money income stream coming. So that's where this month's master list really kind of comes in handy. Boom, boom. All right, one design at a time. All right, so that's step one, just find our designs. We want that happening every day. Give us, concepts to run with. And like I said, the research responsibilities here are simply Google searches, Teespring research, TView, Teescover, the same stuff I talk about in my YouTube channel. Basic stuff. It's just a daily process. All right, so next step 2, we're getting the designs created. This is the project lead and the graphic designer's responsibility. We're using Asana, the program I talked about, asana.com. And what we have here is this is an Asana task. Pretty much, we're explaining the design we want in full detail. This one was a design that said sex, drugs, and niche. So it would say sex, drugs, and welding, sex, drugs, and scuba diving, sex, drugs, and motocross. So we have it fully explained here. Replicate attached image, which we'll have with our Asana task. We'll attach a graphic that we wanted to have similar. Just give them the entire idea of what we want the design to look like, what we want it to do, and all that good stuff. And that's what this Asana task is. Be as descriptive as possible. Let them know how many colors you want to use, what type of shirt you're going to be putting it on, who the target audience is. The more descriptive you are, the better the graphic designer can do what you want. And the more you work with the designer, the more they're going to understand what you want too. So as you get along, you can kind of say, oh, I want this shirt in this niche, and they'll know exactly what you're looking for. With Asana, you have cool things. You can set, the due date. You can set who the task is assigned to. All that, so you can keep track of what's going on here. And then once the design is done and complete, I have my designers add the transparent background image of that design into our Google Drive folder that's called Designs That Need to Be Uploaded. And this is where my project lead can go to once they're supposed to launch that design according to the Google Calendar, find a design easily, add it to Teespring, they delete it from that folder and add it into the Designs That Have Been Uploaded folder. Very simple process of just maintaining what's happening and what's finished and all that good stuff. All right, designs, easy stuff. Step 3, create Teespring listing. This is the project lead's responsibility again. We have each campaign be 10-day campaigns, 7 to 10-day campaigns. So we're watching those on our calendar, making sure it's all going. This is once again set up as an Asana task, and we set this up for our project lead so they can know exactly where they're launching, what headline they need to use, the description they'll have in the sales page, what styles and colors we want to use, and also the fan page we're going to be posting it on. Yeah, there's the data we need. Because with the fan page, of course, we use the PPE ads to get it started and underway. Now, once this design has been uploaded and they have a Teespring sales page good to go, we have the project lead creates a promotional folder. Now, a promotional folder is in our Google Drive, and pretty much all this is all the different files and content we'll need to promote this t-shirt. So for one, we need images of the shirts and the different styles and colors. So in this folder, there'll be a shirt or a black version of the shirt, a white version of the shirt, a black version, a hoodie version of the design, a white version, and all that, so that our ad team can go here at any point and they'll have their pictures to use for their ad. They'll have all the information they need. We need sales page URL, which is obvious, to where they need to link to. And then we have possible coupon codes. So these are different coupon codes that our ad team could use at the end to sell the product. For example, for the December month here, as you saw with Teespring, we were using a free shipping coupon code. So we would have the free shipping coupon code here and say it expires December 31st so that our ad team knows this is a little hook they can use in our ads. All right. So like I said, this promotional folder is set up in the Google Drive for whichever niche it is you have going. I have separate folders for each niche. Now, if a shirt is based around a niche that you don't have a fan page for yet, I like to have individual fan pages around every niche. I think it's a waste to have just one single t-shirt focused fan page, because you're never going to create those assets that I've been raving about the entire webinar here. You're creating a t-shirt company, great, but how many t-shirt companies sell just because of the t-shirt name? You know, that's not really how t-shirts in our sense work. This isn't a Louis Vuitton or a Ferrari type of business. People aren't going to buy your t-shirts because it's called T's Profit. You know, you're creating the us versus them. And a t-shirt company does not create us versus them. A page that says I love cows creates an us versus them. So in this stage, we'll have the project lead go ahead and create a simple fan page. It takes 2 minutes to do this. All I have them do is create the fan page, add a profile image, add a cover image, and that is it. So once all this is up, what we've got is the designs are ready. We've got our plan. We've got the Teespring campaigns up and ready to go. All we need to do now is start advertising. So this is when my project lead will contact the ad management team. And usually this will just be an automatic thing, automatic email that's sent once the Asana task is finished from the project lead. The ad manager gets an email that says, this Teespring campaign has been uploaded, and that lets them know it's time to start the ad process. Now, the ad process is exactly what I talked about in the last section. It's just that I have someone handling this for us. So their responsibilities are to, like I said, when they see the campaign up, they know to go create the initial PPE ad for that design. Now, if we've never touched the niche before, then we got to do a few things. First off, we need to, look for our interest. That's the main thing. We need to do some interest research. That's what this advertising manager will do. They'll go out, do audience insights, do the appropriate research like I talk about in a lot of my videos, and they'll create that initial interest group to target. Now, if we've been in the niche before, we have Google folders set up for each of our niches. So like here's animals, household pets, dogs, beagles, beagle interests. And they just come here, beagle interest that we like to use in our PP ad, copy, and they can paste that into the interest in the ad here. And that is as simple as it gets for the ad team and the initial ad phase. So that's just the first step they take. Then from there, next day, they're the ones who are managing the ads. They're the ones who are looking at the advertising, seeing if the numbers are going off. They know whether to turn on or turn off the ads. They know whether if it's time to scale. They follow the same daily process that I teach you guys about Facebook advertising, no matter what it is we're promoting. They just have the initial startup process that they get from the project lead once a Teespring shirt is posted. So that is pretty much the system outsourced. The only other things that need to really be done from this perspective will be the interaction with the fans. And I have a virtual assistant who does most of that. I have my project lead who manages them, make sure that each of the ads that we post, they're liking and commenting on the comments that are happening. They're deleting any negative comments. They're answering questions and posting links to the products that are needed and different stuff like that. So that's pretty much that's it. That's the entire system outsourced of t-shirts, and that brought in a good $60,000-$70,000 this past month with a brand new team. That's what I love about what's going on with the system is my team's very new. My project lead is only like 3 months in, and he's killing it. He's just following the system, good daily research. It's a numbers game when you follow his plan. And you start to kind of get it a little bit more the more you launch. And the more rebrandable designs you launch, the more niche focused you get, the more demographics, the more targeting you get. And that's when you can start launching these awesome niche focused shirts that sell thousands and are really your asset builders for the long run. So let's go ahead and talk about questions. If you have outsourcing questions, get those. If you have any questions at all, feel free to pop them in now, and I will start answering it. Okay. Do you sort files in Google Drive to keep it organized? You make niche name folders. Do you make folders by date, week, month? It's niche name. I have 2 different folders going here. We have Niche Empire and t-shirt launches. With my t-shirt launches, we have new designs upload designs, and shirt ideas. This is the folder that my graphic designer will put designs into. My project lead will get them and launch them on Teespring. Once that's done, he takes them from here and puts them into upload designs. This is just our master kind of design folder of everything we got. And then every day, he adds design concept ideas into the shirt ideas folder. Now, for the Niche Empire, this is where I keep all my interest and all my targeting, all my individual design, my promotion files, and you can just go through the same niche breakdown here to find all that good stuff. I do not make a separate folder in Google Drive for every single shirt campaign. That'd be a little intensive. Do you hire additional people to do content management on your social media pages beside Project Lead? I do now. My Project Lead was handling all the content on my social media pages for the ones that were taking off and doing well. We have too many freaking pages. I have like 150 pages right now that I run content on. So I've hired a social media strategist and a micro content publisher for that. So I have two people that handle my social media right now. But it's not just fan pages. They handle my social media across the board: YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Google Plus, the entire thing. So yes, your project lead can handle your fan page stuff pretty easily. Can you discuss the system used for tracking ad spend, profits, and ROI on your campaigns? Yeah, I mean, it's pretty straightforward stuff. I've not really gotten to a very good system, and I've not kept track of anything. This is literally how it pretty much looks. Like this was last month of keeping track. I break it down into the weeks, and we have, just so I can keep track of what's going on, we've got how many sales we started with, how much money Teespring started with, where we ended out for the day, my total day sales, how much money I spent, how many campaigns I started, how many ended profitably, and how many I shut down, and obviously profit. So we go through that, and every day I add my campaigns, and I break them down, and this is just kind of, these are all the campaigns that failed. And it just shows you for these, I spent 2 days on a lot of them, $10 each day, sold a few, didn't have any profit, broken down. And with these, we're just having t-shirt name, URL, profit per sale, which I don't even add, ad spend every day, the ad type. So if I was scaling, I would have put scaling here, you know, total sold, and our net profit. And I just estimate that it's $10 profit per sale, whereas a lot of time it might be 20, it might be 30, you know, just depending on what you got. But just to be safe, I do the 10. Is uploaded design folder sorted by folders? I do not separate that very well. It's just a shit ton of designs in that folder. That could be definitely organized a little bit better, especially as we get way too many designs in there. I really don't go into that folder that often, the already uploaded designs, until I don't go into it ever really anymore. But it is used when we're done with Teespring and we're moving on to Shopify, or we're moving on to a long-term funnel. Then we'll have it from there. I mean, the spreadsheet template, it's literally just what you see. Just write that and that. Those things and the date on the top, and that is the spreadsheet. I don't need to save this as a template. It's that simple. It's just repeated over and over. All right, guys, any more questions before we call it a day? All right, cool. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this webinar. We went over a lot of stuff, so I'm sure you probably got some questions and all that just that are going to come through your head over the next few days and stuff, or hours, whatever. You know, feel free to hit me up in the ROI group. We'll continue talking about this and getting all that stuff going. You know, pretty much start rocking out Teespring campaigns. It's a numbers game when you're following this this rebrandable style and all that good stuff. So just keep launching. You'll be going. So thanks again, guys. I appreciate you joining me today. My name is Travis Patel, and I will be in touch soon. Have a good one.